I probably should just quickly introduce myself again, because you'll be using this at other times. So my name's Jane Whiffin. I'm a social worker by background. What I largely do is serious case reviews and child safeguarding partnership reviews, and special interest in neglect, and also doing quite a bit of work currently around child sexual abuse and the Centre of Expertise for Child Sexual Abuse. So welcome to this presentation. So what am I going to talk about? I'm going to kind of start with a story, because neglect is about stories about children's lives that go on into adulthood, something that we need to think about. And then I'm going to talk a bit about adolescence and that particular stage of development, because if we're going to understand adolescent neglect, we also need to understand adolescence, what helps and what hinders in working with adolescents, what's the harm they experience, adolescent neglect more generally, and the Leicestershire, Rutland and Leicester toolkit that's been slightly crossed off at the end there. And, you know, if there's questions you have, or things you want to talk about, those of you who are watching now, you kind of put that in the chat function. So I'm kind of starting with a story of Emma. So Emma is a safeguarding adult review that I've just recently completed, and I guess she reminds me of kind of the journey of adolescent neglect and the journey of neglect from childhood onwards. So we're kind of in the middle when we're talking about adolescent neglect, but her journey started when she was 6 and she experienced neglect and her mother had poor mental health, and ended rather sadly with her taking her own life. But in the journey, when she was 8, she came into care because she was too difficult. She was in residential care when she was 13, and suddenly she's too complex. At 18, she's in the process of transition from leaving care, and the narrative around her continues to be that she becomes something of the complexities rather than the person that she is, trying to understand the journey she's on. And then she gets moved into adulthood and she becomes an adult that's too damaged, too difficult to kind of provide services to. And on it goes into detox, where she's seen as too unregulated, and continue into what's wrong with you, and to finally specialist treatment, she's too hard to contain. So our job as professionals is to think about the long-term corrosive impact of neglect and the need to be challenging it at every stage of a person's life, including into adulthood. So I'm just going to show you